She escaped unscathed. I'm not sure how she managed to keep it all together, but A'ja Wilson is a survivor, folks. That's right. This weekend, she came face to face with a Caitlin Clark fan, and she got out of there.
What happens when a league freezes out its own MVP and the internet rushes to choose sides? Because moments ago, a storyline detonated across social media and stunned even hardened WNBA fans. Notifications went wild. Private chats ignited fast. Short clips were stripped of context. And instantly, one of the most accomplished stars in the sport, A'ja Wilson, was framed as being forced out, not rotated, not questioned, forced out. The rumor circulating online felt vicious. Erased from core lineups, quietly sidelined from future plans, and supposedly cut from Team USA discussions. All while a fresh symbol of the league keeps climbing higher. And inside the chaos, a single name kept getting pulled deeper in. Caitlin Clark. Now, pause here, because this is not about confirmed decisions. It is about perception, what audiences believe, and how this comparison slowly became poisonous and threatens to rewrite careers, reputations, power, and loyalty forever public.
You gotta hit the step back like that. Hey, bam, when you hook in the post, you gotta reach and hook in the post. A'ja Wilson comes face to face, yep, you see it right there, one seat over, with a Caitlin Clark fan in the wild. I know she's scared that things are going to pop off. I know she's scared of Indiana.
A'ja Wilson is an MVP, a champion, a battle-tested superstar. Her legacy never needed defense. And that is precisely why this moment landed so violently. Because when supporters saw her name tied to phrases like excluded, erased, no longer central, it felt unreal. How does an MVP go from raising trophies to being doubted overnight? That question ignited fury, and fury always hunts for someone to blame. Digital storylines quickly claimed A'ja was being swapped out, that her shine was fading, that the league had already turned the page. And then arrived the most volatile accusation of all, that Caitlin Clark was responsible. She took my place. Those words spread like flames, not because they were proven, but because they matched the chaos fans were already conditioned to accept. But this is where the narrative sharply twists.
But no, I mean, it's probably been like a year and a half now of like figuring out what exactly I want. And I think probably the most challenging part of it is like you want it to be unique, but at the same time, like I have to be comfortable wearing it. So I think we kind of like, you kind of take what you know you're comfortable in. Like obviously I play in a lot of Kobe's, but at the same time, I don't want it to be a Kobe. I want it to be something very unique to me and a little bit different. And I think for myself, like, you know, I kind of think about like what's kind of been important to me when I think about like shoes or sneakers. And I think like just the chaseability of them and like, you want a certain sneaker or like you want a certain colorway. So I think that's like going to be probably the most fun part. Like, okay, great. Like you have like the mold of the shoe and like what it is and the technology.
Because the moment you place both realities next to each other, the fury begins to fracture. Caitlin Clark arrived in the league under relentless surveillance. Every whistle dissected, every error enlarged, benched, hunted, squeezed. And through all of it, she stayed silent. She didn't accuse anyone. She didn't challenge veterans. She didn't turn on teammates. She didn't shift blame. She competed. And that difference is what tore the fan base straight down the middle. On one side, defenders of A'ja Wilson insisting icons earn protection, not replacement storylines, that MVP shouldn't feel expendable, that legacy outweighs buzz. On the other side, fans posing an uncomfortable question. Why is Caitlin Clark being punished for existing, for pulling crowds, for selling arenas, for driving numbers?
Something that I've really seen this year that I've never seen before. It's just like damned if you do, damned if you don't. And you constantly have to live in that life for 4 months and over time. It's just, quote, ugh. I dreaded being in Indiana. Not because it was like the city or nothing. It was just like, I just don't want no shit to pop off. So you know, as soon as she sat down next to this kid, she thought shit was gonna pop off. She was getting a little nervous, a little worried, seeing an op sit 2 seats from her, but she kept it together. And you know what else she was thinking to herself? I mean, this article comes on the heels of,
She never wrote league rules. She never dictated selections. She never sat anyone down. Still, she became the target. And that's where the discussion turned vicious, because this stopped being about basketball. It became about spotlight, about access, about who the league seems to shield and who it seems willing to leave behind. Some fans pointed out just months earlier. Nike deals, commercials, endorsements, celebrations, then suddenly quiet. Others fired back, insisting quiet doesn't mean banishment and online stories don't equal truth. But the harm was already sealed because perception moves quicker than proof. And once the belief that an MVP was being forced aside settled in, every moment got re-examined through that filter. A skipped appearance. Look, they're icing her out. A Caitlin Clark highlight posted proof she's being swapped in. A Team USA talk missing her name trending. They removed her. Accurate or not, no longer
Clark from Anywhere tagline hilarious showed itself in A'ja Wilson present on January the 5th. Now it goes on to say, nobody can argue with the Las Vegas Ace for A'ja Wilson being the best women's. Yes, we can, but whatever. The world right now, being under 30 years old, and nobody can argue with Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark being the most
for Caitlin Clark's reality never shifted. Still taking hits, still absorbing backlash, still carrying pressure no rookie should ever hold. Yet, she wasn't pointing fingers. She wasn't shouting this is unfair. She wasn't attacking veterans. And that contrast became the core of the argument. Is this injustice or insecurity? Is the league abandoning its icons? Or are fans transforming rivalry into resentment? Because here's the truth no one wants spoken aloud. The league can lift new stars without deleting old ones. But when supporters turn it into a zero-sum fight, everyone suffers. A'ja Wilson isn't suddenly obsolete. Caitlin Clark isn't taking anything away. They are two
in her mind, she's thinking to herself, man, you think he's why is this guy wearing a Caitlin Clark jersey and not my jersey? Why is he wearing a CeCe jersey and not an A'ja Wilson jersey? I mean, of course it's about race. He's probably not even going to think it's about race, but of course it's about race. Subconsciously, he's thinking to himself, it's about race. I only want to wear Caitlin Clark's jersey because it's about race. A'ja Wilson's blood is boiling inside. In fact, if you zoom in and you look closely, you can see steam coming out of her ears.
And collisions create chaos. The issue isn't that Caitlin is beloved. The issue isn't that AJ is decorated. The danger begins when the internet decides only one story is allowed to survive. That's how legends get trapped in narratives they never requested. That's how emerging stars get blamed for structures they never designed, and that's how a league fractures itself from within. Right now, fans are enraged. Comment sections look like battlegrounds. Every clip becomes ammunition. But pull back for one moment and the image shifts. This isn't the collapse of anyone's career. It's the opening chapter of a reckoning over how victory is defined.
Their players better get ready for how that team is going to be treated and talked about, because it's not going to be warm and cuddly and fuzzy in Philadelphia. It is not. If you suck, if you're not performing, they gonna tell you about it. Guaranteed. You're going to hear about it. In a lot of ways that probably the Indiana Fever and that we're very critical of Stephanie White and players on the team if they don't perform and blah, blah, blah.
How recognition gets divided and how blame gets handed out. A'ja Wilson doesn't need a villain. Caitlin Clark doesn't need an enemy. What the league needs is clarity. Because when MVPs are reduced to headlines instead of people, and rookies are framed as threats instead of athletes, the true casualty isn't either of them. It's the sport itself. And if fans don't slow this moment down, the fallout won't be about who stayed or who left. It will be about why no one wanted to remain at all.